Good evening, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. It was a busy weekend. I meant to do a video yesterday. I'm not sure what I was doing. Yesterday was Monday. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure what I got into. I've been thinking about. I've been doing some rehearsals and working on some songs for. It's an original band that's doing a like a reunion show, and so I've been going through and having to learn a bunch of riffs and tunes from other guitar players. And one of the interesting things that this guitar player is doing is a lot of octave motions on the guitar. And an octave is just it's referring to two notes that are a certain distance apart. So an octave is it's an interval. Think of an interval as like a unit of measurement. So in music, we have. Oh, my face is itching. I just went for a walk outside, and I felt maybe I step into spider web or something. So an octave is just a unit of musical measurement, and there's quite a few different intervals that describe distances, and these distances can be between two notes, or they can describe the distance between two chords, or they can describe the distance between two scales, or really between anything. Just like you could use like 1 foot could be describing many different distances. So an octave is two of the same note. They're just a particular distance apart from one another. So it's called an octave because if you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there's 8 steps between A and A, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So octa 8. That's why they are called octaves. However, in a lot of this material, the guitarist is playing things like a. So it's really a way, and there are different ways to approach using octaves. It's really just a way to kind of have a melody that has like dimension to it. So you have not only like, well, the lower note, or like in this case you have like a lower A flat note, or let's call it G sharp, because we're really against an E chord. That's a different subject. So we'll call it G sharp, right? So I'm hitting the G sharp here on the A string. I'm also hitting the G sharp on the 3rd string, right? And the trick with this technique is, and I'm also putting the open string in there too, if it matters. But that's really kind of not what I want to kind of point out here. What I really want to point out is the ability to play the G sharp here and the G sharp there. And I'm actually strumming kind of most of the strings. And all you're really hearing is you're hearing the note here, here, and the rest of what you're hearing is the muted strings. So what's tough is to be able to mute those strings without hearing a bunch of... Because while in some cases that could give you a cool combination of sounds, not really what we're looking for. So it can be a challenge in the beginning to get this technique down. But really what I'm doing is I'm trying to just kind of curve or arch my fingers. I'm getting some pretty nasty sounds. When I'm thinking about it, it's actually a little tougher than when I just try to play it. So I'm kind of muting the other strings, so you end up hearing that. The other thing that I'm doing, I don't really think about doing this, but the other thing I'm doing is I'm kind of lifting up the pressure. You know, you can do it on you know, in any location. Like in this position, you'll see I'm just laying my fingers across most of the strings. So it sounds better and it sounds more rhythmic than just going, you know, just playing the one note. So that's a little bit about the technique. Now, when I was thinking about this octave business, I was also thinking about, I actually use this frequently for when I'm trying to like maybe identify a note that I'm not sure what it is. So, if you look, for instance, in the key of A, or in an A, you have an A here, and if you skip the 5th string, so A on the 5th fret of the 6th string, skipping the 5th string, if you move up to the 7th fret, you'll also see an A. And if you can see them, just like that. So anywhere you play a note on the 6th string, its octave is going to be in that sort of geometry. So there are different octave placements, you know, around the guitar. If you move to the 5th string and the 3rd string, it's the same kind of geometry. So D, skip the 4th string and go to the 3rd string, you'll also find a D. Moving to the 4th string, so here you're going to move up, right? So you're skipping a fret. Any of my non-musician people that may be watching this, I'm sure this is really boring. And then if you skip to the 3rd string, and then the 1st string, so the octave is just indicating all of those are the same note, okay? So it's a funny thing going on in my hair. It's right? So if you know where a few of the notes are at, you can find where other notes are at in there too. Yeah, and I use these a lot frequently, you know, especially like even on a power chord. So a power chord being essentially a 2-note chord. You know, if you're playing like A, E, and A, I'll put that octave in the on the higher part of the chord to kind of beef it up a little bit, so you don't end up with this. You end up with this. So it just kind of adds a little more depth to the chord. So octaves can be a good way to make like one note sound bigger, you know, a bit more spacious. Can also help you with identifying where your notes are at, right? Because you know, if you know where one note is, at, and you can identify the octave geometry, like the shape of where the octave is, it can be really helpful. So yeah, octaves are. You can think about them in a couple different ways, right? It's a unit of musical measure. Like if you can shift up an octave, it can be a cool technique for the guitar, for electric guitar, you know, especially, or acoustic guitar, it doesn't really matter. And it can be a way to kind of help locate and identify where notes are, taking what you already know and being able to kind of identify where the other of the same notes are at. Not same pitches, but the other A notes for this example. So that's that. Transcend had a really, really good rehearsal today. So that's exciting. We're getting to do some really cool tunes, and we're really buckling down on getting all of our vocal harmonies and stuff really put together. So that's a lot of fun. So the other thing that so I had this kid the other day tell me, he was like, yeah man, we went to this birthday party and he said they had 50 chicken wings, and I was like, that's an insane amount of chicken wings. And I mean, I don't know that I'm not a big chicken wing eater. I eat plenty of chicken, but I don't consume that many chicken wings. I was like, that's a ton of chicken wings. And I thought to myself, I said, well, that's 25 chickens. And he looked at me, the kid was like, it took him a minute to kind of process, I guess, the math that I did there, right? 50 wings, you get 2 wings times, chicken. And it was funny because he said, I guess that's right, unless the chickens were mutated. And I was like, yeah, I guess, if you had like, I don't know, if the X-Men were mutating chickens or something like that, then I guess you could have chickens with 3 or 4 or 6 wings, which I don't know, maybe in the future that's what we're going to come to, like as a, in the food industry is creating genetic mutations in our chickens so we can get more chicken wings out of them. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be eating any mutated chickens anytime soon. I think I'm just going to stick to my normal diet. Meats and vegetables and stuff like that. But yeah. Anyway, other public service announcements: zombies will bite your face. Anyway, I hope all is doing well. Oh, the other thing, these kids, my kids around the office, these teenagers, they tell me, they said, I have to tell you guys to subscribe and like. And I'm not sure why I'm telling you that. Like, I do hope that if you guys like these videos, that you will pass them on. If you do not find them educational, hopefully you find them at least entertaining. But no, they told me that I have to tell you to subscribe to them, and I have to tell you to like them. That seems a bit redundant to me, because if you're watching them, hopefully you like them. Anyway, hopefully I will see you guys. My intentions are to kind of see you guys pretty frequently, if not every day, maybe every other day or something like that. It just kind of depends on what my schedule's like. Anyway, hope you all have a wonderful evening, and we'll catch up with you soon. Peace.